The last 24 hours in Bangladesh have been dramatic, to say the least. Sheikh Hasina, who was the Prime Minister for almost 2 decades, resigned and fled Dhaka. Apparently, she was just given 45 minutes to leave the country. The army took over and said an interim government will be in place. This, as India's neighbor descended into chaos further. Unprecedented visuals show the Prime Minister's residence being stormed, vandalized, and looted by protesters. Hasina's party, the Awami League's office, was set on fire. The statue of Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, Hasina's father, and the founding father of Bangladesh was destroyed. Celebrations were seen in parts of the country, even as violence continued. Over 100 people were killed and several were injured following Hasina's departure. Some reports say minorities, primarily Hindus in Bangladesh, are being targeted. An ISKCON center in Meherpur has been reportedly set ablaze. The incident has destroyed the temple, including the sacred deities of Lord Jagannath, Baladev, and Subhadra Devi. 3 devotees residing at the center managed to escape unhurt. As of Monday, temples, houses, and business establishments attacked and looted in at least 27 districts on Monday. But what happened on the 5th of August was not an overnight occurrence. It was days, if not weeks, in the making. What began as a student protest over job quota soon became a mass mobilization movement against Sheikh Hasina, an unpopular and even authoritarian leader, as many call her. Here's all you need to know about the crisis in Bangladesh. In June 2023, the High Court in Bangladesh reinstated a quota that reserved 30% of government jobs for relatives of veterans who fought the 1971 war, or Bangladesh's War of Independence. This quota was brought in by Sheikh Hasina's father, Mujibur Rahman, in 1972. However, in October 2018, Hasina had agreed to abolish all reservations amid large-scale protests. The High Court ruling effectively put the total reservation at 56%. 56% of government jobs were reserved for children and grandchildren of freedom fighters, as well as women and people from backward districts, leaving just 44% for merit. We'll have the numbers on the screen for you. On July 1, university students began barricading and blocking roads and railway lines to demand reforms in this quota system. That's last month. They questioned the need to reserve jobs for the third generation and called for a merit-based recruitment in government jobs. Some students also said the quota system favored those close to Sheikh Hasina's party, which is the Awami League. What added to this discontent further was the lack of jobs in Bangladesh. Official data puts unemployment in the country at 5.1%, but reportedly the actual number is much higher. Nearly 3.2 crore youngsters are out of work or education in a population of 17 crores. The Hasina government came down heavily on protesters and violence escalated. In mid-July, violent clashes between pro-government supporters and protesters saw more than 100 students being injured. Police fired tear gas and reportedly even beat up several protesters. More than 300 are said to have died during the course of the entire agitation. On July 14, Sheikh Hasina made a controversial reference to Razakars. When asked about the protest, she said, if the grandchildren of freedom fighters do not receive quota benefits, who would get it? The grandchildren of Razakars? Now, Razakars is seen to be a derogatory term that refers to those who sided with the Pakistani military during the independence struggle in 1971. However, she later said that student protesters were not terrorists, and she urged the protesters to maintain calm. But it was too late. Protesting students termed the usage of Razakar derogatory, offensive, and were agitated further. Chants of "We are Razakars" and "Down the dictator" were all over the streets of Bangladesh. Meanwhile, the government imposed an interim blackout, curfew, schools and universities were shut. The protesters were on a rampage. Government buildings, including that of state broadcaster Bangladesh Television, were torched. Then, only on July 21, Bangladesh's Supreme Court overturned the High Court's order on quota. The Supreme Court said that the veterans' quota be cut to 5%, with 93% of the jobs to be allocated on merit. The remaining 2% will be set aside for members of ethnic minorities and transgender and disabled people. So while the contentious bits were declared illegal, the quota system wasn't done away with entirely. Cut to Sunday, the 4th of August 2024. At least 91 people were killed and several injured in clashes in Bangladesh on Sunday. Police fired tear gas and rubber bullets to disperse protesters, calling for Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina's resignation. Sheikh Hasina, meanwhile, reportedly held a series of emergency meetings to take stock of the situation. By August 5, local media says, Security officials informed Hasina that hundreds of protesters were marching towards her residence and that she had little time. Apparently, she wanted to record a video message for the nation, but couldn't. Instead, a 45-minute ultimatum was given to Hasina. Then, Hasina, along with her sister Rehana and her team, flew out of Dhaka in a chopper. So what next for Bangladesh? Army Chief Waqar Uzzaman said on Monday that an interim government will be formed with parties minus Hasina's Awami League. As of now, it's not yet clear who will lead this interim government. As for Sheikh Hasina, at the time of recording this video, which is Tuesday evening, she is still in India. Some reports suggest she is likely to go to London. This event is and will be watched closely for multiple reasons. And it'll have multiple questions as well as to who heads the new regime, what role does the army play from now on, and what about a country like India that shares both a border and warm ties. We'll keep you posted on all the developments coming in from Bangladesh. Thanks for watching.
Stay ahead with our cutting-edge news app. Instantly access the latest shorts in just 1 minute and breaking news in just 50 words. Download now for a smarter, faster news experience.